Okay, what is today? Is it? It's not May the 4th, is it? How to hold the camera in a horizontal video. All right, so here's my startup procedure. There you go. 3 stages of setup. Speaker on, computer on. Speaker on. All right, so what am I doing? Here we go. Computer is connected. So the song I'm writing is called Blue Skies. I'm kind of interloping on the royal blood trope, their genre. And the purpose is to make music that is TV and film syncable. And one of the things that I do consider is keeping it clean, keep the lyrics clean. Now, I'm not going to play any vocals, but what I'm going to do, I got to get a stand for this because I can't stand holding this anymore. Okay, pause. All right. So I got this groovy lighting situation. I'm just going to try to switch this to something different. They're a little dimmer. There. That's better. Oh, even dimmer. Yeah, dimmer's gooder. Oh, I like those eye circles. So here we are in a new week. So this is where I'm at working on this song. This song is it's kind of a direct response to the royal blood sound. Anyway, there's my face in the video. We are now horizontal. Isn't that great? Personally, I like it better the other way, but I've been told I gotta look more pro. What a joke. Anyway, the internet's a joke, but I love the internet. If it wasn't for the internet, I wouldn't think that the world was about to end. Thanks, internet. So check it out. Here's my. I'm just going to show you a little drum breakdown on what I'm working on right now, and I'm going to mute all the guitar stuff. So I'm going to bring this bus up here so that I can just do little A/B comparisons and stuff. Okay, so what I've been doing because of my arthritic thumb is I've been I programmed drums just so that I could compose these kind of elaborate guitar labyrinths on this music that I'm working on. Now, I can't really play the whole song. I'm not allowed. I'm under contract. But what I can do is just show you how I've assembled this kind of track with a drum machine. So I knew the tempo that I roughly wanted to work at. It had to have a dance beat. So what I started with was this. Does anyone recognize that? Yeah. So that's a Lynn hi-hat. Okay, so that's just an example. So then I picked a kick sound that was very punchy, and this is kind of a kick sound that a guy like Skrillex might use. So it has a robust bottom end that's not too long, so the low note isn't too long, but it's just long enough to give you like a puffy 808 feel in the bottom. But it also has like a hi-hat tick on the top of where the point would be, where the kick drum point would be. It's almost like if they've added a hi-hat tick. And again, I don't know where some of these beats come from, like these drum samples come from, but I assume that it's recycled between electronics and analog samples over the years, and these have sort of found their way into the modern DAW virtual instrument battery. So this is all in battery. You can just go fish around battery, get yourself a version. I have the AAX battery 4. It's pretty good. Just be warned, if you get battery 4 and you had battery 3, when you first open 4, you won't be able to find 3. So go into battery and look under the file menu instead of the quick serve. There's a quick serve list on the left of battery. I don't have battery up. I'll show you in another video if you're curious. If you're not, and you're just more of a music fan, I'll show you my breakdown. So I started with that hi-hat just to get things in motion, and then I threw in roughly the kick pattern that I wanted. And there it is. It's my kick pattern. Okay, so that was my kick pattern, and then I had a snare pattern. Okay, so Lin hi-hat, crew kick and snare. Anyway, you can look it up. Here we go. Okay, so that's the crew kick and snare with the Lin hi-hat. Okay, and then I have a realistic-ish sounding kick and snare. Okay, there, that's two of them. So that's two kicks and snares. It's called vintage kit. It's called vintage kit. So crew kit, vintage kit, combining them, they're just exactly playing the same thing, quantized the same way, the same note values, etc. All right, so that's what I started with. Okay. And then what I did, and then how I added the bass line to that groove. So here we go. Here we go. So it's kind of like a playful, funky bass line. You can hear the chromatics in it. And then I added a little bit of sauce on the bass tone. Sorry, here's the sauce on the bass tone, because I wanted it to be kind of gritty. So here we go. Ooh. Okay, so now you're getting the feel. So this is the very naked buildup. Okay, so I'm going to turn the basses off for now. Okay, and then I'm going to go up and we're going to just do a gradual reveal of the other sounds that I've layered on top of this. Vintage hats and crash. My fake toms. So this is the whole kit with the ridiculous tom fills. Okay, that's still vintage kit, and those are the toms. Now I've printed each tom individually, so I muted everything except for the tom note that I wanted to print. I printed in stereo, so I'm not messing around with panning. I'm using the original panning from what the drum machine was naturally playing. Okay, so I keep that panning, and then what I do is I actually print those toms, and then I use Drumagog to add slightly more natural sounding toms, because they have tom layers, and Drumagog will respond to the drum machine dynamics, and it'll print like a various articulation of the tom hits. I'll just go back. I'll play it first without Drumagog, and then I'll play it with Drumagog. So here's the same tom fills. Okay, so here's the drum fills adding Drumagog. So it sounds a bit more like sticks hitting right and left hand, slightly different timbre and feel to each of the samples. Okay, so those are all layered on. And before I go to the next phase, I went to the phase of making individual kick and snare hits. And that's on the kit back there with the full mic setup. So I just like played along kind of thing, just the snare. And then I played along just the kick. Okay? So this is just that kick and snare playing from the top again. It's kind of cool, eh? So that's with the kick and snare hits. Now, if you notice, if you can see on screen, see the dark blue? That's the kick mics. I use the multiple mics on the kick. Okay, and the orange is the snare. That's the multiple mics on the snare. And that's basically snare top, snare bottom, and then the overheads. Okay, same with the kick. It's I'm using kick, snare top, snare bottom, and overheads to get the kick sound, because I want the kick to rattle the snare, which when you're doing a kick sample, you have to include that microphone so that you get that slight snare rattle. And that's what gives it a sense of realism. And those are individual hits. So now it's very uniform because I'm trying to play accurately, but the hits are different and multiple mic. Now that's layered on to the drum machine, okay? So then I have a hi-hat track that adds even more realism. So let's see, I'm gonna go to a spot. I'll go to where those tom fills were, because then you'll hear the tom fills, and then back into a verse, you'll hear the live hi-hat be added. So I'm keeping the electronics, all the electronic hi-hats and stuff, but I'm layering on actual live playing, and you'll hear it more. I'm gonna go to the pre-chorus so you can hear the changing of the hi-hat and how I'm actually playing the parts. This is a two-handed hi-hat, so you'll hear. So that's kind of cool, eh? It kind of blends pretty good. So those are still the electronic crashes, and I'll add the other crashes and overheads. Okay, this is all the live stuff and most of the electronic kit, and I'm gonna turn that one off because that's a Drumagog kick, and you'll hear when I add those. I add Drumagog kick and 2 Drumagog snares to the sound. So here's that same section, or I'll do the lead up, 2 bars leading in to the pre-chorus. Not bad, eh? Now, the advantage of programming it is that if my thumb was better and I was well rehearsed, I might be able to actually play most of that figure. So that's like tiki dingy tacky dingy. It's a bit of like an arm spaghetti part. I saw Randy Cook do this many years ago with Daddies of Eden. They were playing a show with Brass Bikini and The Hang and Glue Leg at this show that we called, we affectionately named it No Lullabies Here, because all the bands were kind of heavy, except for us. But that was the idea of the show. And then its name after the show became known as the No People Here Show, because nobody showed up. The press didn't show up, and we had like it was everyone who was being played on CFNY at the time was playing the show at the Bathurst Street Theatre in Toronto. That's at near Bathurst and Bloor, and and not even the press showed up. Uh, and I don't know why. I guess maybe they couldn't believe that that we actually pulled it off. That we got Daddies of Eden, and Glule. I mean, these were all bands that were they were the new indie spotlight bands, putting out singles at that time on CFNY. What year was that? Maybe 92, 93. Back to the drum machine. So now I'll play this section again, and then I'm going to add in. I'll play the section twice. So I'll play it just to remind you. This is before the additional Drumagog kick and snares, okay? So that's not bad. It sounds pretty natural. It almost sounds like a kit. Now here's the Drumagog kick and snare samples added. So there you go. Some assembly required is what I've been doing. Now, it is hard work. If I was in more of a rush, I might have done it a lot differently. But we had no budget and lots of time. So with no budget and lots of time, I was able to cobble together my own hands with my injured thumb, hitting the actual drum. Like this thumb, like I can play a little bit, but I can't do an entire take. I would have to stop in between. So with this affliction, I just decided, well, I'm not going to really try to play much of it. I'm just going to play the things that I need. Yeah, kick, snare, tom, overhead left crash, overhead right crash, plus I added a crash ride and a bell cymbal. So I have all that stuff going on in this little track here. It's actually really fun to do. Like this wouldn't be a bad job to be actually paid well for, assembling kits for people. If your recording fell a bit short, I can put together like a really nice kit. So call me. I will assemble your kit for your mix, and then you can mix it. So that's what I've been doing. So let's play all that just real quick with a little bit of that bass line. Now, in understanding the bass, it's basically it's the one main bass take in mono, and then I'm splitting it off into different amps for different sections. So you can hear at the beginning, it's going to be one type of sound, and then it's going to develop into another type of sound. So here's the beginning. I'll just let it play for a few bars. Same bass, one take. All right, so I hope that's groovy and fun for you guys. I had fun making this stuff. When it's finally online and on site, I will post a link just to get this music out. But I can't really play much of it, you know what I mean? You just gotta you gotta keep secrets to some degree. And then when your music is out, it's out. Anyway, there you go. There's a little bit of like drum drum staging and building. You know, you start with a drum machine. You could start with the kit. I mean, you could do it either way. You could play like a totally loose take, and then you could make the MIDI follow the loose take. It doesn't matter. You can do it either way. Using the grid, starting with drum machine on a grid, it's a little easier for editing later, but I'm just saying it's just a little bit easier. If you're on Pro Tools and you know how to edit on Pro Tools, this program's fast for audio editing, and also for MIDI. It's really easy for MIDI. Here, when I open this track up, you'll see this is all your MIDI. I'll go to extreme. This is all the MIDI notes, and I can just tab through them. I don't know if you can see me tabbing. Can you see the tab, the cursor moving? There, I'm tabbing to each of the MIDI notes. The thing about this, right, is you see on screen something that is editable, you know, like you can put a cut anywhere. You can move this to there. There, I'll undo that. You can grab this and you know, and move it to there. You can do it really quickly in Pro Tools. I have the separation grabber. I don't know if you can see that, right? Just where my mouse is over here, right at the top of the screen. I go to separation grabber. So it's the hand grabber. When that icon comes up, I put it on separation, and then I go back to multi-tool. See that light up? So multi-tool means that the tool switches to hand when you're at the lower half of a given object, right? It's the hand. And when you go above half, it turns back into the cursor. So you can go cursor, hand, grab, move. It doesn't get easier than that. Plus, you can hold Option and go. I am holding Option. Here's Option over here. So there's Option. Hold Option, grab. There, you just copied that. It doesn't get easier than that. And people who say that, oh, you can only use Ableton or Logic for MIDI. Shut up. You goofs. Okay, so the other thing you can do is if you want to get forensic, you just double click and then a submenu shows up that has all the notes on it. There they are, right? They're playing. I just don't have it going to a bus right now. But this is the idea. You can play this keyboard and see what note you want to move. You can grab any note. You can zoom in just like you zoom in on anything else. You zoom in on that note. There, that's your note. Right? Grab the note. Option, copy. Option, copy. Grab all three. Option, copy. This is a copy-paste situation. It's very, very easy to use. I don't know why people diss Pro Tools for not being a good instrument programmer's tool, because I think it's just as good as any. Everything you need there, all the automation, it's all right there. And even when you're booting up the plugin, here's what battery looks like. If you don't know battery, there's battery. That's what it looks like. It's individual drum samples on this matrix. Each one corresponds to a note. I'm clicking through them. You're not hearing them, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, so you all basically get it. And each note has all of these parameters you can change. Each of these notes has a different set of parameters. Like, you don't see the screen flipping here, but I can assure you that even though it says main, like we're on the main submenu here, when I select this is the main setting for the next kick. Right? Here's the snare. There's the main setting for the snare. And these are all the things you can do to it. You can change the attack, the pitch, the engine. You can go to a standard or a vintage sound. You can make it do an SP1200 12-bit. Like, that's pretty cool. Now, we can have that argument later that, the actual drum machines do sound better. They do. But they sound really, really good. Like, you would really have to be so forensically, Anyway, they are real samples of the real drum machines is what you have here. So this is not a drum synthesizer like a Lin or an 808 or a 909 or a 707, 606, 505, 404. Let's boogie. Okay. So there you go, guys. That's how I'm assembling this music. It's fucking fun. You should do it too.